Billy B. Brown, The Missing Tooth by Sally Rippon. Chapter 1. Billy B. Brown has 2 messy pigtails, 15 freckles, and 1 wobbly tooth. Do you know what the B in Billy B. Brown stands for? Bother. Every morning this week, Billy B. Brown has stood in front of the mirror and wiggled and jiggled her wobbly tooth. But it's no use. The tooth is stuck. What a bother. 15 freckles, 1 wobbly tooth, 2 messy pigtails. Billy, stop fiddling with your tooth, Billy's mom says. It will come out when it is ready. Hurry and brush your teeth or you'll be late for school. Billy's mom is a bit grumpy today. Noah has been crying a lot in the night, so she's very tired. Noah's cheeks are bright red, and he's very dribbly. Billy's mom says he is teething. Billy brushes his teeth carefully. Billy's dad pokes his head into the bathroom. I can pull out your tooth for you, he jokes. I just have to tie one end of a string around your tooth and the other end to the doorknob. Then, slam! One pops the tooth. Out pops the tooth. No way, says Billy, spitting toothpaste into the sink. That will hurt. Billy walks to school with her dad and her best friend Jack. On the way, she starts wiggling the wobbly tooth again. How about eating an apple? Jack suggests. That's how I lost one of mine. Billy shakes her head. That might hurt, she says. She pushes her hands down into her pockets to stop her fingers creeping up to her mouth. At school, Billy's class is learning about teeth. They learn that an elephant has big, pointy teeth called tusks. Crocodiles have 70 teeth and sharks have 3 sets of teeth. Even slugs have teeth. Miss Wharton asks how many people in the class have lost a tooth. Everyone puts up their hand except Billy. Billy frowns and looks down at her desk. Hurry up, Tooth, she thinks. Chapter 2. At playtime, Billy and Jack play chasey with some other kids in their class. First, Jack is it. He chases Billy around the playground. Billy is very fast, but Jack traps her near the drink taps. Billy is it. He shouts. Billy decides she's going to catch Mika next. Mika is a fast runner too, but not as fast as Billy. Billy runs and runs and runs and oh no, Billy trips over. She falls down hard onto the concrete. Even though she stuck out her hands, Billy still bangs her chin on the ground. She sits up and howls. Billy's hands are grazed. Her knees are grazed. Even her chin is grazed. She feels sore all over. Poor Billy. Jack rushes over. Mika, Ella, and Tracy rush over too. Hot tears stream down Billy's cheeks. Mika puts her arm around Billy. I will take her to sickbay, Ella offers. No, I will, says Tracy. It's my turn. You can all come. Billy sniffles. I need all of you to help me walk. My knees hurt so much. Billy's friends help her stand up. Wait, Jack says, look. Billy looks at the ground. There, in the dust, is something very small and white. It's not much bigger than a grain of rice. Can you guess what it is? My tooth, Billy gasps. Billy slips her tongue into the gap between her teeth. It feels squishy and tastes like metal. Billy knows that taste. She gasps again. Is there blood? Ella peers into Billy's mouth. A little bit, she says. Tracy scrunches up her face, like she has swallowed something sour. Billy begins to feel worried. It's fine, says Jack. There is hardly any. He picks up the tiny tooth and hands it to Billy. Just then, Miss Wharton walks over. Billy fell over. Ella shouts. Oh my goodness, says Miss Wharton. Look at your poor knees and your chin. We'd better get you cleaned up. Look, Billy says. She shows Miss Wharton the little tooth in her hand. Miss Wharton smiles. She pulls out a tissue from her pocket. Here, she says. You don't want to lose that. Wrap it up so you can take it home for the tooth fairy. Billy grins, the tooth fairy, even though her knees and hands and chin hurt. She cannot help feeling excited. Chapter 3. Billy's dad picks her up after school. Billy is covered in band-aids. Oh no, Billy, what happened? Her dad asks. But Billy is too excited to bother about all her injuries. I fell over, but look, Billy says. Carefully, she unwraps the tissue to show her dad the tooth. Billy's dad smiles. How exciting, he says. Don't lose it, will you? Looks like the tooth fairy might be visiting our house tonight. Billy gives a happy little squeal. She wraps the tooth up in the tissue again and puts it in her pocket. All the way home in the car, her tongue keeps wriggling into the empty space in her mouth. When they get home, Billy runs into the house to show her mom her tooth. Billy's mom is on the couch feeding Noah. She looks very tired. Mom, Mom, Billy yells. Look, look. Billy yells so loudly that Noah gets a fright and starts crying. At first, Billy's mom looks cross. But then she sees all Billy's band-aids. Oh, my poor little soldier. What happened to you? She says. I fell over. Billy says glumly. But look. She opens her mouth to show the gap where her tooth had once been. Your tooth came out, says Billy's mom. She gives Billy a cuddle. Noah grizzles unhappily. Billy frowns. He's always crying these days, he says crossly. Billy's mom stands up to rock Noah to sleep. Billy's mom stands up to rock Noah to sleep. It's not his fault, she sighs. His growing teeth. And Billy, that hurt his gums. But Billy doesn't want to talk about Noah's teeth. She wants to talk about hers. Look, Billy says. She reaches into a pocket and pulls out the tissue. She opens it up carefully, but the tissue is empty. Wait, says Billy. She checks her pocket. There is nothing there. Oh no, she says. She feels her bottom lip begin to tremble. I can't find it. Maybe it fell out in the car, Billy's mom says. Billy checks the car all over, but the tooth is nowhere to be found. Billy starts to cry. Her knees hurt, her hands hurt, even her chin hurts. And now she has lost a tooth too. Chapter 4. That night, Billy's dad tucks Noah into bed. Her mom sits on Billy's bed. Billy still feels very upset. Oh, Billy, says her mom. She gives Billy a cuddle. Maybe the tooth fairy will still come. But Billy shakes her head sadly. It's no use. Everyone knows the tooth fairy only comes if there is a tooth to collect. Just then, Billy has an idea. A super-duper idea. I know, she says, wiping her eyes. Maybe I can write the tooth fairy a note? That's a great idea, says Billy's mom. So Billy gets out her sparkly pens and writes a note for the fairy. She even draws a picture. Dear Tooth Fairy, I lost my first tooth today. I fell over at school and banged my chin and my tooth came out. But then I lost my tooth on my way home from school. This is the truth. Can you please still leave me some money anyway? Otherwise, my friend won't believe that you came from Billy. P.S. Postscript. If you don't believe me, check my mouth. Postscript. I will try to sleep with my mouth open, but if it is closed, could you come back in a little while? Postscript. Please don't wake my brother because he's teething. Billy tucks the note under her pillow. Then her mom gives her a goodnight kiss. The next morning, when Billy wakes up, she sits up slowly. Her knees and hands still ache and her chin feels sore. Billy feels for her wobbly tooth. Oh, that's right, it's gone. Billy suddenly remembers the tooth fairy. Did she come? Billy lifts up her pillow. There, lying on her bed sheet, it's a shiny gold coin. Mom, Dad, Billy yells. He runs to find her parents. Billy's dad is already awake. He has Noah in his arms. Shh, he says. Your mom is still sleeping. What is it, Billy? The tooth fairy came. Billy whispers excitedly. She must have read my note because she left me money. Well, there you are, says Billy's dad, smiling. That's great, Billy. It looks like the tooth fairy had a busy night. Look, Billy's dad gently opens Noah's mouth. Billy peers inside, and there, on his bottom gum, is a shining white tooth, as small as a grain of rice. Alright, so much for today. See you guys next week. Bye.